Hello and welcome back to the 100 Acre Wool Knitting Podcast. My name is Bella and this is a podcast where I like to share with you what I've been making that's usually knitting related, pretty much always knitting, sometimes some fiber arts and sewing as well. And as with all of my videos, before we get started today, I want to make sure I say this because I feel like I forget a lot. As with all of my videos, links to everything that I talk about today will be in the description below this video. That's yarn I talk about, designers, anything like that. All the details will be below. Also where to find me. You can also find me on Instagram and Ravelry at 100 Acre Wool. And with that, let's get into it. So first I have a finished object to share with you. This was a very quick knit. It was also on my Make 9 for this year, so I'm really happy that I've gotten one of those projects finished already, and yeah, it was a really quick and fun knit. So what it is the Alicja Slippers by Soprano Knits, and they're just so cute. I love how they came out. So this pattern is from the 52 Weeks of Socks book by Lina, and these are technically slippers, but still footwear. I had cast these on a few weeks ago. I actually finished these a while ago already, but I wasn't able to podcast until now, so now I'm showing them to you in the podcast. But yeah, they were actually a very quick knit. I think if I add up all the time that it took me to knit these, it probably would have taken 2 days to completely finish both of them. Well, actually for the knitting part, and then there's like other details, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, really quick overall, really quick knit. Very enjoyable. I really liked these. I really liked knitting them. I would definitely recommend them if you want footwear to be able to wear around the house and they're really cozy and warm, but you don't want to spend the time, or maybe you don't have enough yarn to make a full pair of socks. These took barely any yarn. I haven't actually weighed them, but seriously, like barely any yarn. I was pulling from a 100-gram ball that I had, and I still have like way more than half of it left. So I would say less than 50 grams to make the whole pair. So pretty economical, and yeah, just really cute footwear if you want to have something nice to wear around. So I made these out of a mystery yarn to me. This was a yarn that was gifted to me by a fellow podcaster here on YouTube, Alexandra of the November Woods Crafting podcast, or I think it's November Woods Fiber Co. now because she does have a hand-dyed yarn business. But a couple of months ago she was so sweet and she sent me some yarns from her stash, and this was one of them. It was a big ball. It was a big skein, very big and fluffy, thick yarn. Let me get it for you. So I've caked it up because I was knitting from the yarn. But yeah, it was a very large, very lanolin heavy skein, which I like lanolin. I know some people are allergic to it, but yeah, this actually, it felt very different knitting with this compared to like commercially processed yarns that, you know, have been very stripped of all of the lanolin. Anyways, getting off topic here, but yeah, this yarn was a mystery to us. We have no idea what it's made out of. I'm guessing it's 100% wool, but as for the breed of wool, the breed of sheep, we're not sure. But yeah, it was very fun to knit with, and I'm really happy that I found a project for it. But now I'm not sure what to do with the rest of it because I have quite a bit of it left. But yeah, so this is a very bulky weight yarn. I would definitely call this at least a worsted weight or an Aran, but it is also very varied in the thickness all throughout. So like some parts are thicker than others. So that was a bit of a challenge to work with, but it was totally fine. This pattern calls for DK weight yarn, but obviously I wanted to use this yarn for it, and yeah, it definitely worked. I mean, these fit me perfectly. They're not going to fall off, so they didn't turn out too big. And I used the same needle size and the same stitch count and everything that the pattern suggested, so it worked out totally fine. But I will say that since I was using such a thick yarn, so much thicker than was called for, the tension was very tight in these. Like if you pull on it, you can't see through it at all. It's a very dense fabric, which I really like for footwear and wearing around the house. But knitting it was a bit of a challenge because the tension was so tight. It was really, after a while, it was giving me some pretty intense pains in my elbow and also my wrists, and also just my whole arm. Like, I don't know what was going on, but it was like a very, very kind of uncomfortable situation. It didn't last long, only a day or so when I was actually knitting these, but yeah, that was just something to note if you're going to be using a heavier weight yarn. But yeah, still, I think it's definitely worth it. It's a quick knit, so the pain doesn't last long. Or maybe I was doing something wrong that... Anyways, I'm happy how they turned out. And so yes, the pattern, I don't want to give away the whole pattern of how it works, but basically you make the socks or the slippers, you make them all in just one color. So you just use your main color, whatever you're using, you knit the whole thing, and then you do the details afterwards. So there's like duplicate stitch of different details. There's some tassels here, there's some duplicate stitch down here, and then also on the heel in the back. Hopefully you can see that. I'll also put a picture somewhere in here so you can see the details better. And then there's also some stitching that you do around the openings to kind of just finish it off nicely. And when I mean that these took me 2 days, and that wouldn't even be 2 full days of knitting. That would anyways, really fast. That I meant for the actual sock portion. And you could definitely just knit that. Like if you didn't want to do the tassels and all the extra stuff, you could totally just knit the slippers and have it be a super quick project just to have something. But I wanted to do all the little details because I thought it was so cute. And like I said, I cast these off. I finished these almost like 2 weeks ago now because I haven't done a podcast in so long. But I've already been wearing them like so much. And the bottoms are honestly kind of felted already a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry. But yeah, I really love them. I probably shouldn't be putting them to my face. Anyways, our floors are clean. It's okay. I feel like I'm rambling on today. But anyways, I would highly recommend this pattern. And yeah, if you want anything like slippers to wear around the house, they're super warm, they're super comfortable, they're not going to fall off. I think they're great. And it also comes in 2 sizes. So these are the smaller size, smallish-er size. There's another size above this one. So yeah. And I did want to say a little bit about the tassels because that is my favorite part right here in the front. I just think they came out so cute. So Becky of Soprano Knits, who's the designer, she does tell you exactly how to make the tassels, so everything's all in the pattern for you. If you have 52 weeks of socks, I highly recommend you just go for it. You can use yarn from Stash, all of these detail yarns. Those were just tiny little scrap bits that you would need. Like, seriously, it's a great project to just whip it up and have it to wear and to enjoy. So yeah, that was the finished object for this week, and now I'm so excited because since I've shown it to you, I can finally wear them and wear them a lot. Wear them out, almost. So yes, that was a very fun project. Very happy with those. And this week, I have also cast on a new project. So if you saw my last episode, you may have seen that I got a lot of yarn. I purchased a lot of yarn from Nutiden Yarns. So, or actually, the company name is Under och Air. Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. They're a Swedish yarn company, and they make Nutiden yarns. So it's an unspun pencil roving, and I was just so excited about it. I still am so excited about it. I love it so much. And I wasn't planning on casting anything on quite so soon because I do have quite a few projects in the works still, like whips from last year that I wanted to finish up. And I was gonna try to finish those up first before casting on new things, but you know, when the yarn is calling to you, you just have to go with it. So I really wanted to play with the new yarns. So this week I cast on something with 2 of the colors that I got. This one is called Snow, and it is the color of snow. So this is just a nature white. Nutiden yarns, all of their yarns are different heritage sheep breeds from Sweden. So they're all local to the mill in Sweden, and they make all of their yarn in-house. Really just lovely, beautiful yarn. This is like a cloud. Just real quick, I would highly recommend you check them out. Not sponsored, I just love it. So yes, I'm using 2 colors for now. So Snow, and then this one is Use, and it's just so beautiful. You probably can't see all the detail of this yarn, all of the colors that are in this, but they call it a mother of pearl yarn, meaning there's like a world of color. There's like so many shades in this one. I love it so much. So I'm using those 2 colors, and I cast on a beret pattern. And this is going to be probably a new design. So right now I'm just kind of testing it out. I made myself a little chart and just kind of going off of that, knitting it and kind of designing as I go a little bit. I've kind of planned out a couple things, but anyways, yeah, it's going to be a beret. I know that for sure. And this is how it is looking so far. So I was really inspired by mandalas recently, and just looking at the symmetry and the repetition in the round, and how beautiful patterns can be made just by taking one design of one piece and duplicating it all the way around. So I haven't finished the top portion. I'm working kind of from the center out right now, and I haven't finished the top portion. This will be like that. It's going to keep getting wider. So it'll be kind of a large beret, and it's still, it'll grow a bit, I think, once I block it. I can feel it's going to stretch a bit. So yes, I do think it's going to grow a bit once I block it, and it's still going to be getting a bit bigger. So there's more design to come, but I'm just having so much fun playing with the details of textures, different textures, and as you can see, there's a lot of baubles in this. It's pretty much all of the color work almost is baubles. So that's been fun. I really love baubles and texture, and yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with this design, just playing, just having fun and playing. But this has been a very different knitting experience than I'm used to working with the Nutiden yarn. This is my first time working with Nutiden yarn, and so I wasn't really familiar with how it would behave knitting with it. It is a pencil roving. It is very different to work with. If you're not aware of pencil roving, it's quite delicate in some ways. So when it's still not knit, when it's still in this form, if you pull on it too hard, it will break, since there's no spin to it. There's nothing kind of holding the fibers together, if that makes sense. Spin adds strength, so it doesn't have that in this stage. But once you knit with it, the fiber length is small enough, and the stitches are small enough, or sorry, I mean the fiber length is long enough and the stitches are small enough that it stays together, and it's perfectly strong once you knit it up. But yeah, working with it and actually knitting it, since you are tensioning the yarn and pulling the yarn, you know, as we do as knitters, the act of knitting, it kind of makes it a little bit harder. You have to be more cognizant and aware of your hands and your tension, and it kind of makes you a lot more, I don't know, it brings you more into the moment, and I think that's really beautiful about it. I actually really like that, making you more aware of what you're doing. Yeah, so that's been fun, but also a challenge. So I cast this design on, and I've just been playing. I've just been playing with this, doing different things. So this was actually my first attempt. Maybe you can see that. Maybe. But yes, still a lot of baubles and still the same colors, but I was using a lot larger of a needle size. I think I was using US 3 or something for this one, and I was doing the math and figuring it out, and figured it was going to be way too huge. The beret would get way too big, like width-wise, and it would be too much. So I stopped on that one, and I also wanted to change the design a bit. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of like wavy because of how many baubles there were on this one row. So yeah, just playing around. And then my second attempt was this one. And again, still way too huge, but more of a similar design to what I'm actually doing now. But you can see like the center part. The only thing that's changed between these two is the needle size. I think I went down like 4 needles. So again, really different than what I'm used to working with. Like normally I would use like a US 3 or US 2 for this like thickness of yarn that, you know, I would call this like a fingering or a sport, somewhere in between there. But yeah, so it's very different to work with. I think because since it is more delicate and I'm trying to be lighter with my tension in my left hand, I'm a continental knitter, so I tension the yarn in my left hand. And I think doing that with this yarn, I have to be so much more precious with it, I guess, that it loosens up my tension. So I have to go down needle sizes to compensate for that. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, this is where I've landed, and I'm really happy with how it's coming out now. Oops, it dropped. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's coming out now. I think it's going to be a perfect size, still a little bit of an oversized beret, I'm thinking. And yeah, it just brings you so much more into the moment, and it's a joy to work with. It really is. I've been knitting outside and just enjoying the fresh air and the birds chirping. I live in California, so there is no snow. It doesn't look anything like winter here. It's pretty much spring, so it really feels like spring. We do have flowers blooming already, and it's just been a really sweet experience, really nice, lovely experience working with this yarn and sitting outside. I do have another tip for you if you are going to use this yarn, or if you have some and you're struggling with it maybe. Perhaps you can knit from the plate. You can knit directly from the plates like this. This is exactly how it comes to you in the mail. You could knit like this. Some people have had breakage problems though, that like when they're pulling it off the plate, when they're pulling the yarn to get more slack, sometimes it can break on you. So I have also heard of people making a ball, winding some up in like a baseball size ball. This one is smaller because I've been using it. And then putting it in a bowl, and so that when you pull it, it can just freely roll and there's no tension like pulling back on you that would make it want to break. So I'm just storing the used one. I'm just storing it in a bowl that I threw on the wheel a few years ago. I really miss making ceramics. I really want to get back into making ceramics. I used to do it a lot, but anyways, so yeah, just storing it in a bowl for now, so that when I pull on this one for some reason, this color is, the used color is a lot thinner. Well, maybe not a lot, but it is quite a bit thinner than the snow colorway. So it's also interesting, this yarn, that depending on the colorway, there's different sheep breeds that were put into the colorways, all the different colorways. It's not like one, it's not one type of wool that they use for all the different colors and then they just dye them. That's not how it works. They blend different sheep breeds depending on the colorway. So each one is very unique, is what I'm trying to say. They're all very different. And with that, snow is very much a thicker yarn, thicker roving than the used colorway. So that's also like something to take into account, and it's just, it's fun. I really like how they're so special and unique, and they're like their own creature, each one. It's really cool. And the back, I really like how the back is looking too. I wonder if the colors will come up how they are in person. It's so sweet. These floats are so sweet. I really like pink and white. So anyways, I am having a lot of fun with this yarn. I am excited to keep working on this. So I will probably be making this into a pattern that will be available to you guys. So I'm pretty sure this is working out pretty quickly. I think I cast this on maybe a week ago or so. So I think it's working out pretty quickly. I'll probably have it finished, you know, within a week or two, and then I'll start getting testers. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe and follow me on Instagram if you would like updates about how this project is going. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. A lot of fun with it. And next, I have been working on another whip, one of my other whips that has been in the works for a long time, and I'm trying to make progress on it because I really want to have it. I really want to finish it and be able to wear it and enjoy it. So, what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to, is my yellow cardigan, and that is by Marie Wallen, if you aren't aware. So I have almost finished the body. I've gotten back to knitting it. It's upstairs, and I'm not going to go get it. But yes, I'm still working on the body, but I've been focusing this week on knitting the arms. So last week I had cast on this arm, or I was working on this arm. Anyways, I finished this arm this week. So I think this is about the length that I want it. I might need to fudge it a bit once I'm gonna actually attach it to the body. This pattern is a steeked pattern, so the body is knit in the round. It's kind of also oversized, so it's knit in the round, and then you steek it to make it a cardigan. You also pick up kind of a framing border. It's not a button band, but it's kind of a framing border at the end once you have steeked it. And then the arms are also steeked, so you just put in some steeked stitches, and you'll cut those open at some point to attach the arms, to make the armholes to attach the arms. And I'm not sure if this arm is exactly the right length. It's definitely right for me in the round, the circumference of it, but as far as the length, I am not quite sure because I've been doing a lot of changes, modifications to this pattern to make it my own and make it exactly how I want it to be. So yeah, not sure on the length yet, but I can always add or take away. That's easy. That's totally fine. So yeah, one of the modifications, if you're new here, one of the modifications that I've done is the arms are normally worked top down. So like once you would cut open the steek stitches for the body, you would pick up stitches and knit downwards. But I wanted the V's of the knit stitches. I wanted the direction of the knitting to be consistent for the whole piece. So like the body, I'm also knitting these bottom up, and I'm knitting them in the round, and it's completely color work, as you can see. So yes, that's one of the modifications. I also modified the width of these. I made them overall thinner, but they're also the same width all the way down, whereas the pattern, it like kind of tapers in towards your wrists. So I've changed that. And then also this week I've gotten started on the other arm. So my 9-inch circulars are still in these ones because I'm still working on them. And yes, so cast on here and work my way up. So yeah, nothing much new to report on for these, just getting more work done on them, and it's really fun. I really, really, really like these 9-inch circulars. Again, not sponsored, I just love them. These ones in particular are Chiagu. I actually bought a couple other pairs in other needle sizes, and I don't think you have to have a certain brand with these. Really just like 9-inch circulars, go try them if you never have. I really highly recommend them for like arms or socks or anything like that. I've used them now for arms, and then I've also knit some socks with 9-inch circulars, and it's such a joy because you can just keep going around and around in the circle. It's like if you were knitting the body in the round, you know, you can just get in the motion and just keep going and going and going. That's also maybe kind of an issue I've faced with this pattern, knitting on this one, because there have been multiple times, especially with this on the body and also these arms, that I just get so in the groove of knitting and I just keep going. Like, I just don't pay attention to the pattern anymore. I'm not measuring anything. I just keep on knitting. And like, you know, I'll make things way too long. Like, that's what happened in the body, that I was just having so much fun knitting in the round, and I just knit too far. So anyways, it's fun. I guess it's not bad. If you have to rip back because you were having too much fun, that's not a bad thing. But yeah, so getting there on the arms, I'm very excited about this. I'm very, very excited that I'm making progress, and I can see that it is coming along and we're almost there. We're getting there. I will say, with the arms, I made some adjustments and I almost want them to be thinner now. I kind of took an idea from another knitting podcaster here on YouTube, Taylor Owen. She also made a similar modification with her Yell cardigan, that the arms she was just knitting straight. And I think she actually made hers a bit smaller, like a repeat smaller than I did. I thought I had measured my arms correctly, and I thought it was going to be okay. I think I ended up with more ease than I was expecting. I think I wanted the arms to be a bit more fitted than they're going to be. Let me see if I can try this on. So it's not, because I have a sweater underneath, but it's not as fitted. It's not like literally fit around my arm. But actually maybe that's good, because then I can wear things underneath that are more bulky and it'll be extra cozy and warm. So yeah, that's how it's looking. It'll probably be, I want the cuff to hit somewhere like there. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if the length is correct yet, but so this is coming along and I'm very happy with it, and I will keep knitting on this and update you guys in the next podcast. And the last thing that I have to share with you today is some spinning related goodness. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I had gotten a fleece and I wanted to spin it up. It is a completely unprocessed, just not even washed yet. The fleece is just, it's just a fleece at this point. And it's a really, really beautiful fleece. And once I actually do start spinning it, I haven't started spinning with that one quite yet. Once I actually do start spinning with it, I really want to do it well. It's a really beautiful wool, and I want to, make it as good as it can be into a yarn. Hopefully that makes sense. Words, what are they? Anyways, I purchased this week, I ordered a spindle, a drop spindle, so that I could start practicing my spinning. So, let me get that for you. So, this is the drop spindle that I ended up purchasing. It is a Turkish style drop spindle. I was doing some research on different drop spindles, and I thought this one was gonna be the best for me. This is my first time spinning anything ever. You can probably tell by the yarn that I'm creating. Maybe you can see this, I'm not sure. But I thought this would be the best sort of situation for me. I heard that they were very light. This is very, very light, so that you can create thinner yarns with it. I did definitely want the ability to spin thinner yarns, and I think the shape is just very beautiful and very cool. So it has a hook here at the top, and I just started playing with it. I just started going. When I ordered it, it came with some roving that you could start playing with it, start spinning something. So that's just what I've been doing so far. And it's not good. I will say that. It's very uneven, and I think some places are overspun where it's like twirling up on itself, so it's not a balanced yarn. And yeah, I need to watch some more tutorials or something to learn how to spin better. And I do also really want to purchase some more roving so that I have more to play with, that perhaps I could actually knit into a project. I don't think this is going to be enough that I could actually use it. It's just to practice, just to play. So yeah, it's been fun. I do actually really like it, but yes, I definitely need to practice some more with this so that I can hopefully produce a yarn that I could actually knit something with. But yeah, so this has been fun. And if you have any tips, if you are a spinner yourself, please do share some tips or resources, or anything that you think would be helpful for a new beginner spinner. I really I love the idea of hand spun, and I am having a lot of fun with it so far. I really do want to get more into the world of spinning. So if you have some resources or suggestions or whatever, if you have places for fiber that you love to go, you know, online stores or whatever it is, makers and dyers, I would love to hear about that, because I do want to practice a lot more with this and play a lot more. So yeah, that's been fun. I will link where I got this this particular spindle down in the description if you are curious. But yeah, it's been fun. So with that, that is everything that I have to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe you found some inspirations or patterns that you would like to knit yourself. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.